Hello, hello. Just a second, we're going to start. So, welcome back to my channel. So my today's topic is how we can improve the performance using Dapper blocks. So, let me share my screen. Oh, sorry, I was mute. So, yeah, I hope the slide will be visible to you. I just checked that. So, yeah, so this is our topic that we will discuss improve performance of Angular app using Dapper block. So, yeah, let us start on it. Yes, so this is a new feature that is introduced uh, in Angular application, and like how you can do smart templating for faster apps, and how you can improve performance. So yeah, we will go to one by one what blocks we can add here. So let's start. So what this stepper block is and what are the benefits of it. So yeah, we will going to discuss. Let me just run the project first so that I can show you what parameters I'm talking about. Yes, so here it is. So why this? So this is a new feature that it is stable in this Angular V20, and what it help like. So what happens like if you're using this feature, and what it contribute to the performance. So why this performance matters? So as we know, like first load equal to first impression. So means if it is load early, then yeah, it will be good impression. It will, if it will take time, then obviously people will skip that website and will not go to that. And we need to run it the application for the speed. And so this performance is a differentiator. So yeah, so this is why point, like we need to keep the peak performance in mind while developing any feature, anything that we are developing. So let's start. And so how, so previously what we were doing, like this thing we are already currently doing today also. But this thing, like, so here we lazy load the settings module, and where we created a dynamic component, heavy widget component. So previously what we were doing, we can only lazy load the module. But now we have standalone component, like we can um, lazy load the component also. But now we can lazy load the one part also. So let me just, so if you see, so this is a, in the past, like this is what we had do, like a manual logic for component loading, and route based lazy loading. So previously we were doing these things, but now we have new ways that we know. So we will going to discuss that, like what we can use now. So Dapper, they have introduced Dapper now. Let me give you one firstly the code there. Let me show you the code first so that you can get to learn more, like why it is important. So which component we were using of control flow. Okay, so what we were doing, so with the defer block, what we can do, so we can defer the particular block. So we have different blocks, like, so we can now, like when this block need, then only we can load that block. So if you see here, so there are different blocks that I added, like, so you can add the lazy loading on that also. That is a very big advantage. So I will give you. Yes, so Defer is a Angular template syntax that allows you to load parts of template when and if needed in logical condition. So yeah, we can add some logical condition also while adding this Defer block. So let's move to the next block. So means you can load the stuff later when you require. So if you see here, we divide, like previously that this is our chunk. So, so it will divide our code in multiple chunks. So if you see here, like previously it was only polyfill main style, but now if you load the things, then it will divide the things into the lazy load chunks. So yeah. So I will give you an example. I will show you the code so that you will get to know learn like how you can add this, like fetching the chunk, applying the chunk. So how you can achieve that. So for to add this interaction, to add this defer block, there are multiple triggers that you generally use. So if you see here, so there are lots of triggers that we need to use according to our requirement, according to our conditions. So like viewport, interaction, timer, idle. So these are different conditions that we can add on our defer block, so that according to that it will load that part. So we can defer non-critical resources. It basically lazy load a thing, divide the imports in chunk. When you click on that, it will load the content. So yeah, means when they required, then it only load. Otherwise, so as we know, like if we have less DOM size, then yeah, the performance will be good. But if we have more like the heavy DOM, then obviously it will take more time. So you have to reduce that. What you need to do, you can use these triggers to achieve that. So there are different triggers, like when you import the directive pipe component, it will divide them into them when you need them. So so these are the basically help all about the trigger. So means here I added some description of that, like on the viewport, so it loads the content when it enters the viewport. On interaction, when user interacts, and content when after a specified delay, and the content when the browser is idle. So there are different things that basically used here. So to trigger that block that we lazy load. So I will give you an example also. So what can we defer? So here are the multiple things that I added. So this triggers that I talked about. So on viewport, load the component content when it enter, on idle, on immediate, on interaction. When you click on that, so yeah, this is so components, pipes, directives, CSS. So all the things we can add it in under the lazy load thing. And so now let's see. So these are the ways that we can use to defer any block that I told you. And so with the defer block, there are other things also, like placeholder loadings and error. So there are different conditions also with each block that you can also add. And so this is the incorrect way to add the defer block. And if we talk about a particular block, okay, so let's suppose we are taking example of viewport. So in the viewport, what we are doing, we have added a placeholder, like until that block is not loaded, then we will show that placeholder. And if it is loading, then we will show the loader still loading after 3 seconds. And in the loading, we can, I mean, there are different things also, like we can add some time also. And if that block is failed to load, then in that case we can use error block. So these are different block, like core block for lazy loaded content, content show before loading, content shown during head loadings. And so these are different blocks that we have. And if you want to use these triggers, what you need to do, I will tell you like that also. Like, so if you suppose you want to use the timer block, so on the timer block, what you need to do, you need to provide a trigger also. So means you need to add a click button. So on this click button, it will trigger that code. Like if you see this highlight this, then it will show that only. So currently, similarly, there are other triggers. Others have also the same approach. Like so this one is for the timer. Like after 5 seconds, it will trigger that. And apart from it, the second one is if you see when is visible, prefetch when is loaded. So these are different conditions. Also, you can also use. So when it is visible, then you can use that. Otherwise, is will show as is loaded. So under the So here, like on like if you see, there are two main things like on and when. So in the when we are passing boolean condition, in the on we are passing this. And let's move to the. So basically differentiate like what are implicit trigger, what are explicit trigger. So these are built-in triggers. It refers to a placeholder added by user or by Angular itself. So this is implicit trigger, and explicit trigger is basically defined when element should trigger the diver block. So like if you see here, we have added another element to trigger that. So these are explicit triggers that we have. And next is prefetching diver block. So prefetching is the process of loading resources and keeping them in memory before they are needed. So yeah, means you can use that prefetch also to load the resources. And what is this placeholder? So this is basically like dependency of the placeholder block are eagerly loaded. So means when the application load, it will load the placeholder first, then it will check like the defer block. So it accepts an optional parameter minimum. So yeah, you can means you can this is optional parameter. Yeah, means minimum second it will show that placeholder. After that it will show that content. So yeah, you can use that. It is very, it will be basically very helpful. Like if we have a different content or something like that, means we can show the dummy data, then if the content comes, then we will show that. So it basically enhance the user experience. So it is very important. And also if you see here this loading, so this load block is used to show some content while the buffer block is still loading in JavaScript bundle in the background. So yeah, means you can also use this loading so to show like some loader and all used to show some content while the buffer block is still loading. So this is also a good way to improve the experience. So that block is used to display content when the loading or buffer block fails to for some reason. So these are different blocks. So this is all about that we discussed when rendering. So we have server-side rendering app also. We can with the Angular we can create an server-side rendering application also. And so if you see here, so here are some point that we need to keep in mind when we are using defer block in the SSR app. So when rendering on server browser, event does not exist. So no click, no idle. So these triggers must not happen there. So Angular on the server is just rendering HTML, not running app logic. So it basically renders only the placeholder, and it does not render the actual deferred content. After content waits until the client side app starts. So yeah, these things you need to keep in mind if you are working with the SSR app. So I will recommend you only use it in the CSR for now. And so yeah, what are the impact on performance if you're using this lazy load, this FR blocks? So defer allows you to lazy load individual component inside a single screen, and loading only when the what the user is likely to see, and use helps code splitting and minimizing main thread work. And it basically helps faster initial page load size, and it delays the loading and execution of parts of a component tree until they are needed, and this reduces initial JavaScript bundle size, main thread blocking. So this is very important. So if you want to check these things that I told you, so let me show you that also. How you can check these points. So there is a feature in the app. So if you see here, under the performance, just a so the lighthouse, so you can generate the report, and it will give you all the things like these value that I show you, FCP, LCP. So it will improve that. So it is analyzing our website. So here you will get those point FCP, LCP, total blocking time. So yeah, you can refer this to understand like what is not working. So these are the points that you can get on with the Lighthouse score, and you can improve that, and improve details. Will you will also get on the Light app. So this is in the dev tools, you will get all those things. CLS shift also, when it's properly with proper folder or loading indicator, dev provides jarring layout, jumps cost while layout. So yeah, means this is very important point. If you're working in the enterprise application, it has lots of things. So yeah, means you can play add placeholder and just improve the performance, better UX without loading spinners everywhere. So yeah, this basically enhance our application a lot. And this is a CSR application. It basically helps a lot. So this is the point that I shown you, like how you can analyze those point FCP, LCP, CLS, speed index. So yeah, it will improve all those things with the def views. And so what's next is, let me show you some interviews of questions I have added. But before showing that questions, let me give you some practical examples so that you will get more knowledge on that. Okay, just a second. Let me share my screen again. Let me show you some Dapper blocks in running mode. So yeah, let's start that. Let's ignore the blocks. So we just focusing on the Dapper block for now, not the others. So let's take a basic example first. Let's take a basic example. Then we will so this is our part that we are not going to cover for now. Okay, so now we are good to go. So this is the code commented. Let me uncomment that. Okay, some structure is breaking here, so let's see. It is causing, which block is causing the issue. 7. So basically, there are different. So if you see the code, I have added different types of containers here with each use case, and so I think a step block is missing. Just you can add that. So I think which block is missing. So let's skip all those things. Let's keep only the single part first. Okay. So let's now run this only. This is a dev block. What is happening, man? So this is a dev block. Okay, so it is basically closing, maybe I think. Okay, yeah, this was the issue. So now let's see the basic part. So this is a default block. App large component, something went wrong. Okay, so let's run this. So if you see, I told you there are lazy.com chunk files we have. So let's learn. So here, this is a large component that I added, and it is used to show demo for defer loading. Used to show demo for demo refer. So if you see, this is large component. Spare using large component. We have this used to show defer loading. So yeah, means we are showing this, and this placeholder we only show for 500. So that's it. Use the time of it. For the 5 second I added this placeholder, so it will take that time, then it will load. So if you see here and the let's load, so we have this component also, so it is loading that also. So this is a default way. Now let's move to the different block that we have discussed. So now if I just remove that, and just so now this is a viewport block. So if you see here, so I talked about viewport also. So let me show you like how this viewport work. Content to be default viewport, content to be displayed. Okay, so this is a viewport placeholder, so let me add that also here, so that you will get a clear understanding, like this is we are talking about viewport only, not any other case, because there are other cases also here. So viewport error, let's map everything. with the viewport here. Viewport error. So yeah, means this is the simple text I added, but you can add your component call here, call it here. Yeah, so if you see here, it will show content to be default viewport. So means it will show the viewport. So when it comes to viewports and it is loading that content. So let's add another one. So now we have immediate trigger. So these are different triggers that we discussed. So let's trigger this one. Content to be deferred. Okay, so let me update that also. Report defer immediate defer. So this basically I'm adding to just identify. This is the immediate trigger. So similarly, if you see here, okay, so let me give you the example for the explicit trigger that I talked about in the slide. So let's see this explicit. So as I told you, like when you click on that trigger, then it will reload the content. So here, if you have reload, so it will show that this content. Okay. So now when I click on it, then it will render the defer block content to be deferred. So yeah, like similar. So in that way, you can also load the content and render and improve the user experience. So yeah, here are other ways also, like on interaction, it is on timer, like after 5 seconds it will refer. On idle condition it will show this defer. So here on hover we can show this content. So these are different ways, like we can add multiple triggers also, and we can add boolean condition also that I discussed on the slide. So yeah, you can use this way. So we can use prefetch also. So these are the ways that you can use. Let's back to the slide. So here I talked about all those things. So next is difference between defer and diff. So this defer basically lazily rendered or load a block of template and if basically conditional render part of the template. So yeah, these are different purposes that you have of the ngif and this defer block. And I talked about this multiple interactions. So means explicit, I told you like what we need to do in these, what conditions we need to add here, and what get first. So basically, this then if loading takes time, then it will do loading. Then otherwise, it will load the main block. And what a default trigger? Default trigger is basically the default trigger for idle is to defer is idle. So means generally this idle is used as a default trigger. What if we add two conditions trigger? So yeah, I mean this is also possible. So all are required means you can add this condition of when on data loaded, when hydrate on. So yeah, these are the different conditions that you can use to pass on the data. So yeah, this is all about improve the web performance. So if you have any doubt or question, you can ping me. You can ask me on. You can comment it out here. Yeah. Thanks, Wes, for joining on the stream. Yeah. Stay tuned and do subscribe for more content.